Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My dear student, I hope you are well by the grace of the Almighty Allah. I am also fine by the grace of the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is many years since we met last. If you could remember, just a long time ago, we meet in the classroom. After a long vacation, we again meet Eid Mubarak. I hope you have enjoyed the Eid and stay at home and be happy. My dear student, the world is now still passing a very crucial time, and I told you in my previous classes, time is very important. We have to adjust time. We have to go with the pace of time. We have to run with the pace of time, otherwise we will be in the backbenchers. Therefore, during this pandemic, the pandemic is now gripped the whole world, and we have to adjust. We have to make our time with the pandemic. Okay, midterm exam is over and you are requested to submit your scripts within or by 8 August, and I hope you will do your duties properly. And now this preparation is preparation for our pre-test. Now you have to prepare yourself for the pre-test. The whole syllabus, total syllabus you have to cover. There are the 6 items in our midterm of grammar, 6 items and 2 items from the writing. Now we have to cover the 12 items in grammar and 4 items from the writing part. Okay, we'll talk about the remaining 6 items, and let's go. First, special use. And I told you an important thing, that grammatical rules or items are interconnected. One item we have learned in right form of verbs, the same item we have to learn in a special use, but in different way. The item is the same, but we are learning, the rules are the same, but we are learning in different atmosphere. Therefore, the grammatical items, the grammatical rules are interconnected. Okay, let's go. Special use, some special uses. That is question number 3 in board question. This is question number 3. Some special uses here. Look at this. First special rule, was born. Was born. How is was born used? This is important, and you have to learn this. Look at this. Was born refers to somebody's place or date of birth used in passive sense and always in past tense. Was born refers to somebody's place or date of birth. Place or date of birth, it is important. Was born is involved with the place or date of birth. Usually it is used in passive sense and in past tense. Look at this, just go to the example. He was born in 1936. Was born in 1936 refers to the date of birth, 1936 year of birth. My parents were born in Dhaka. My parents were born in Dhaka. Was born refers to just the birth. In Dhaka, place of birth. And I was born in Newark, place of birth. Now in the examination you will face the exam, and the exam you have to be the question like this. Shakespeare was both a poet and a dramatist. He dashed at Stamford-on-Avon in England. That is a reference to the place of birth. Therefore, it is was born. Okay, it is was born. Next, look at this. Was born is a special use that we can use just referring to place or date of birth. Next, second rule, have to or has to. Have to or has to refers to obligation. Have to or has to refers to obligation. Obligation means we have to do something. We are obliged to do something. We have to obey our parents. This is obligation. We have to obey the rules of the country. Look at the example. We have to do it sincerely. You have to be joking. While people have to stay home during the current pandemic, he has to admit his guilt. Just this is obligation. Have to or has to refers to obligation, like should. If you could remember, should also refers to obligation. We have to do it sincerely. That means we are bound to do it sincerely. You have to be joking. You are bound to be joking. All people have to buy or stay at home during this current pandemic. That means we are bound to stay at home. We must obey. We must obey. This is obligation. Note, have to is often pronounced have-to. Have to in American use, it is used as the pronunciation is have-to. Look at this, another example for the examination. Deforestation is a matter of great concern. Deforestation is a matter of great concern. We take immediate steps against cutting down trees at random. So there is an obligation. The sentence refers, we take immediate steps. As deforestation causes a great concern for the people of the world, therefore the people of the world should take immediate steps against cutting down trees at random. Okay, next rule, had better. We had already done had better. Had better, refers to advice or suggestions. Have to refers to obligation. Had better refers to advice or suggestions. Very simple thing, I think you understand. Look at the example. He had better leave this place at once. He had a choice. Advice or suggestion means the person has a choice. He had better leave this place at once. That means it is your choice whether you leave this place or not. We had better stay at home. It is your choice, it is our choice whether we stay at home or not. They'd, just contraction, look at this. In contraction, you can read this. They'd better join the rally. And they had better join the rally. And right form of verbs, if you could remember, in the right form of verbs, had better plus bare infinitive. This is still right form of verbs. But in special use, you have to know the context, the reference of using had better. You have to use had better when the sentence expresses suggestion or advice. Look at this, the example for the examination. Rina's dress looks very dirty. Rina's dress looks very dirty. That means Rina's dress is dirty. It is old enough. It is already old. She dashed buy a new dress. That is a suggestion or advice. Okay, just an advice. She had better buy a new dress. Next, just look at this. Next rule, had better. Next rule, would rather oblique sooner than. Would rather oblique sooner than. Would rather oblique sooner than. Would rather sooner refers to prefer. Look at this. Would rather or sooner refers to prefer. Prefer means like. Prefer means like. You prefer something to something. Look at the example, then you can be very clear with the example. Look at this. He prefers tea to coffee. Can be written. He prefers tea to coffee. In Bangla, if you could say, prefers tea, চা পছন্দ করে, to coffee, কফির চেয়ে চাকে বেশি পছন্দ করে. That means he likes tea more than coffee. He likes tea more than coffee. This sentence can be written, he would rather drink tea than coffee. That means he prefers tea to coffee. He would rather or sooner drink tea than coffee. Same meaning. There is no difference. Next, he prefers walking to riding. Can be written, he would rather or sooner walk than ride. In Bangla, হাঁটার চেয়ে অর্থাৎ ঘোড়ায় চড়ার চেয়ে বা রিকশায় চড়ার চেয়ে সে হাঁটতে বেশি পছন্দ করে. He likes walking more than riding. I think you understand. In the exam, you will face the exam. In the exam, this will be, to tell a lie is a great sin. Look at this. To tell a lie is a great sin. To tell a lie is a great sin. We dash die, then tell a lie. We dash die, then tell a lie. Otherwise, none will believe us. To tell a lie is a great sin. This meaning is clear, I think. It's a proverb. We dash die, then tell a lie. তাহলে dying and telling a lie, there is a liking, whether we like dying or whether we like telling. তাহলে we like dying more than telling a lie. Therefore, we would rather die, we would rather die than tell a lie. Otherwise, none will believe us. This is the use, this is the context. You have to understand. You have to understand the context first. To understanding the context, you have to use that special use. Would rather and would sooner than. There is a than here. Therefore, then tell a lie. This then refers that we can use would rather or sooner. There is a preference. There is a preference. এখানে একটা preference আছে. Next, rule number 5. Look at this. Let alone. This is a very complex, at a conflicting special use. Look at this. Let alone. And if you could understand what is the Bangla meaning of let alone, একা থাকতে দাও. Let alone মানে একা থাকতে দাও, অর্থাৎ আমি কোনো কিছু চাই না, এইরকমেরই আর কি। এটার সাথে there is a similarities, বাংলায় মিনিংটার সাথে স্পেশাল ইউজটারও there is a similarity. Look at this. Let alone is used at the end of the statement. Let alone is used at the end of the statement. You are clear? At the end of the sentence, let alone is used, not at the beginning, not in the middle, but at the end of the sentence. Like tag question, if you could remember. In our SSC level, you have tag question. Just like tag question, let alone is used at the end of the statement or sentence, referring that the first is not true. You have a two choice, the first and the last. The first is not true. The first choice is not true at all, and the next is not true either. As the first is not true, there is no question of being true of the second one. The let alone gives you two choice. The first is not true at all, it is a lie, and the second is not a question of being true at all. This is the situation. You understand the situation. Look at the example first, then you understand, I think. Daud has gone through a major knee injury. You understand? Daud has a major knee injury. Knee, হাঁটুতে একটা বিরাট ইনজুরি হয়েছে when he was playing football or cricket or whatever it may be. Then he has a great serious injury in the knee. He will never walk again, and the doctor says he will never walk again. Let alone play football. There is not a question of playing football. Daud will never play football at all. He will never walk. But how can he play football? That means, look at this. There is a two choice for you. First choice, walk. Daud, there is a two choice for Daud. First is walk. Daud will never walk. That means first is not true at all in context to Daud. And the second, play football. It is totally out of question. And this is the end of the sentence. Look at this end of statement. He will never walk again, let alone play football. End of the statement. You use let alone. And then look at the situation. The situation is very important. সিচুয়েশনটা হচ্ছে যে প্রথমটা তো কোনোভাবেই সত্যি হচ্ছে না, পরেরটা সত্যি হওয়ার কোনো প্রশ্নই আসে না, এই রকমের কিন্তু অর্থ। লেট অ্যালোন একা থাকতে দাও, এটার সাথে এইভাবে মিল হয়েছে যে প্রথমটা কোনো ক্রমেই সত্যি হচ্ছে না, অতএব দ্বিতীয়টা তো সত্যি হওয়ার কোনো প্রশ্নই আসে না। কারণ দাউদ হচ্ছে তার নি ইনজুরির কারণে দাউদ টোটালি হাঁটতে অক্ষম, আর জীবনেও হাঁটতে পারবে না। এখন দাউদকে যদি বলা হয় প্লে ফুটবল, ইটস ইম্পসিবল, কোনোভাবেই সম্ভব না। And in the exam, look at this. Rahim is a poor man, very poor. Poverty is a companion of Rahim. He cannot buy a shirt. He has no ability to buy a shirt. Dash a car. There is no question of buying a car, let alone a car. Look at this. He could not, but he cannot buy a shirt. Even he could not. First is not true at all, and the second cannot be true at all. In this context, in this situation, we have to use let alone. I think you understand. This is a very complex, little bit complex than the others. Next one. As if, as though. And I think we have did it, we done it as if, as though in right form of verbs and completing sentences. Therefore, this is not so difficult for you, as we have did it in our right form of verbs and completing sentences. So it is not difficult for us. As if, as though refers to as it were. In Bangla, jeno emonta hoy. Structure as if, as though plus subject plus verb in past form. Right form of verb er khetre eta appropriate chilo, but you have to now understand the situation. Look at the example. He called or calls me as if I were his son. He called or calls me. The verb may be present tense, may be past tense. This is not a concern at all. But after as if, you have to use verb in past form. As if I were his son. And in context of to be ভার্বের ক্ষেত্রে ওয়াজটা ইনফর্মাল হয়ে যায়, সেজন্য ওয়্যার ব্যবহার করা হয় সব ক্ষেত্রে। আইয়ের ক্ষেত্রে ওয়্যার, হির ক্ষেত্রে ওয়্যার, ইউয়ের ক্ষেত্রে ওয়্যার, দের সব ক্ষেত্রে ওয়্যার, টু বি ভার্বের ক্ষেত্রে শুধু এটা একটু খেয়াল করতে। He behaves or behaved, no problem, present or past, as though he owned the place. সে এমন আচরণ করছে, এমন ভাব দেখাচ্ছে যেন সে বাড়িটারই মালিক, সে জায়গাটারই মালিক। সে আমাকে এমনভাবে আদর করছে যেন আমি তার সন্তান, অর্থাৎ আমরা এক কথায় বলি যে সন্তানের মতো আদর করছে। অতএব context or situation is very important. You have to understand the situation. He talks or talked as though he knew everything. এমনভাবে কথা বলছে সব জানতা। He orders me as if I were his wife. এমনভাবে আদেশ করছে যেন আমি তার ওয়াইফ। He looks or looked as though he hadn't had a decent meal for a month. তাকে দেখে মনে হচ্ছে সে মনে হয় এক মাস যাবৎ কোনো ভালো খাবার খায়নি, এইরকম যেন। অতএব as if, as though bears the same meaning, যেন, অর্থাৎ there is no difference as if or as though. As if and as if bears the same meaning. Look at this, rule number 7. No sooner ... than, scarcely, hardly ... when. Same rule. We have done it in a right form of verbs and completing sentences. Structure, same structure, no sooner, hardly, but you have to understand the situation only. Look at the example. No sooner had we reached the station than the train left. No sooner had we reached the station than the train left. No sooner had we reached the station than the train left. বাংলা অর্থটি এরকম, আমরা স্টেশনে পৌঁছতে না পৌঁছতেই ট্রেনটা ছেড়ে দিল। তাই নো সুনার ডট ডট দেন আর হার্ডলি or scarcely dot dot when, same meaning. There is no difference in the meaning. The meaning is same meaning. Therefore, you don't worry. And next, okay, look, go to the exercise. Look at this. We will do an exercise here. This is important. 7 rules we have completed, just now completed. If we could remember, first was born, second hapta, third had better, fourth, if you could remember, would rather, fifth, as if as though, sixth, no sooner dot dot than, hardly dot dot when. Next another, it is let alone. Now with these 7 rules, we have to complete a board exercise. Right? This is the question taken from board. Look at this. There is a table here. In the table, if you could remember, if you see, I think you see as if, let alone, hapta, would rather, was born, had better, no sooner dot dot than, hardly dot dot when. And there is a question, look at this. We dash pay a visit to Cox's Bazar, then the Sundarbans. We have already visited the Sundarbans. And you have to understand the context. As I told you, we dash pay a visit to Cox's Bazar, then there is a reference here, then. What does the then tells us? Then tells us, then is used only would rather dot dot then. Would rather dot dot then. Therefore, there is a comparison, there is a preference, and at a liking at Beparache. Look at this, Cox's Bazar and Sundarbans. Pay a visit Cox's Bazar or Sundarbans. We have already visited the Sundarbans. Sundarbans আমরা অলরেডি ভিজিট করেছি, তাই আমাদের এখন প্রেফারেন্স থাকবে টু কক্সেস বাজার। ইট ইজ ক্লিয়ার। দেয়ারফোর দ্য ওয়ার্ড দেন অলরেডি রেফার্স দ্য ইউজ অফ উড রাদার, and according to the meaning, the context is clear. There is a reference of preference, পছন্দের একটা ব্যাপার এখানে চলে আসছে। Therefore, it is would rather. Next, B, look at this. B, Fardeen is always boastful of his uncles. He talks dash, they were the most powerful man in the country. ওই যে আসছে, he talks, সে এমনভাবে কথা বলছে যেন সে একেবারে পৃথিবীর দেশের মধ্যে সবচেয়ে পাওয়ারফুল। যেহেতু boastful of his uncles, আঙ্কেলরা প্রভাবশালী, অতএব যেন, look at this, therefore it is as if. Next one, my college is far away from our house. আমার কলেজটা বাড়ি থেকে অনেক দূরে। I dash walk a long way to go to my college. আমাকে আমার বাড়ি থেকে অনেক দূর হেঁটে যেতে হয়, অতএব this is obligation. Josimuddin is a rural poet. He dash in 1903 in a village named Tambulkahana in Faridpur. Look at this. There is a reference of place of birth and date of birth. Next, Maruf cannot earn 50 marks. 50 মার্কই সে পায় না। ড্যাশ 80 মার্কস, 80 মার্কস পাওয়ার তো কোনো প্রশ্নই আসে না, তো লেট এলো। Faiz seems to be weak. দেখতে মনে হচ্ছে weak. He dash consult an experienced doctor. যেহেতু weak, অতএব there is a suggestion or advice. তাকে একটা অ্যাডভাইস দেওয়া হলো, he had better consult. The student were talking in the class. খুব কথা বলছে. Dash the teacher entered the class. Dash they stopped talking. Reference টা হচ্ছে no sooner had the teacher entered the class then they stopped talking. Okay, student, I think you are very well. Thank you very much for giving company with me. Okay, I hope, pray to God, and you pray to God for me. We all pray to Allah for our permanent salvation. Thank you.